So the last thing we need to cover for Outcome 2, Unit 3, Outcome 2, is ethical and socially responsible management in the internal environment. So the whole outcome has been about the internal environment, and we look at ethical and socially responsible management in pretty much every outcome throughout Unit 3 and Unit 4. So it's an important part of the course. So here we're just looking at it specifically in the internal environment. Now, an organisation, by acting ethically and socially responsible, these are some of the things that can happen. An organisation can attract shareholders because shareholders often are questioning CEOs and board of directors now for the decisions they've made, and if they're not socially responsible, because the media, there's so much media around, and with social media, the media is instant, that things that organisations do that aren't ethical or aren't socially responsible can have a negative impact on the organisation. So by being ethically and socially responsible, organisations are able to attract more shareholders. Another thing, organisations can actually attract better employees. These days, employees want to work for someone that they believe in, that is helping out their community and helping out the environment. So you can actually attract and get a bigger and better pool of employees to choose from. Now, as a result of that, because of you being ethically and socially responsible, employers are more likely to remain loyal. Now, that reduces staff turnover. And because you've attracted better employees with better skill, then you can actually retain that skill, and that enables you to gain a competitive advantage. So there's some of the benefits to the internal environment that happen because an organisation is being ethically and socially responsible. So now we'll just look at some ethical issues. So if we look at conflict of interest, conflict of interest occurs when a person takes advantage of a situation or even a piece of information for his or own benefit rather than the actual employer's interest. So some of those conflicts can often occur when gifts or payments are offered. So they actually do something to gain a gift or some money from another organisation or from another group. So that is a conflict of interest. Now, that's not being ethical. So that's an ethical issue that can arise. If you're asked for an ethical issue that can arise in the internal environment, then that is one, a conflict of interest. Financial management is another one. All organisations have to, or all companies especially, have to be audited and have to disclose any financial information, especially if they're listed on the stock exchange. They have to, anything that's going to could affect the stock or the share price, then the shareholders or the public have to know about that. So that has to be disclosed. Now, there can be some accounting errors or some accounting methods that can help hide some errors. So whether something's listed as an asset or not, that can sort of mislead how well the organisation is going. So that's an ethical issue. And fairness and honesty. So managers must have to obey all laws, but as well, society expects managers to actually tell the truth and avoid using misleading or deceptive information. Now, employees are expected to be dealt with fairly and honestly. If there's going to be a change and there's going to be downsizing, you need to be honest with them. If you're saying that no, we're not planning on downsizing, then 3 months later you downsize, and you knew that, then that's not being fair and honest to the employees. You need to give them as much notice to prepare for a particular downsizing where a plant may be closing down so they can prepare. So there's some of the ethical issues that can happen in the internal environment, and you can speak about those in an answer if it asks for a particular, what are some ethical issues that happen in the internal environment. Now, in terms of social responsibility, we've spoken about that on other videos, and that just continues. So it's looking at, I suppose, the benefits of being socially responsible and any impacts on the internal environment if they're not socially responsible. So that is the end of Outcome 2. We'll see you on the next videos for Outcome 3.